Okay, now we have downloaded the Counter-Strike source dedicated server. So let's open the Valve, C drive Valve server 1 folder, and here we have a folder called Orange Box. Don't go into the HL2 server, it looks like this. So go into the Orange Box folder to see the contents of your server. Orange Box is the latest version of Counter-Strike source, which was made to make it playable on Mac. So just open the Orange Box folder, and here we have the srcds file. Now look, if I just double click this, nothing happens. That's because this is for all source games. SRC stands for source and DS for dedicated server. A dedicated server is just a regular Counter-Strike server. Only difference is that you can host it yourself. So yeah, for this we need to make some shortcuts. You can also create a batch file if you want that, but I like the icon of this, so I'll create shortcuts. So let's start making a shortcut. We send it, right click and press send to desktop, and we do it twice because we need to I need to make two, one for the graphical user interface and one for the command prompt interface. I like using the command prompt interface because I can see everything it's doing. But these commands I cannot I cannot remember them out of the head, so I'm going to use the C-Strike Planet tutorial for this. So Windows install Counter-Strike source, and here you have also telling, and here it explains the files we have just downloaded, what to do with the shortcuts just created on the desktop. So to enable the console we have to write this, and also the game is called C-Strike, so just right click the first one. I will call it srcds GUI, graphical user interface. Right click it and properties, and here after this srcds.exe we have to put these parameters. So you can see here it has defined console, game, C-Strike, auto update, max players, and a map. It's a good idea to define a map for the server to use every time it launches. I just take and copy this part just to use it for an example. You have to make a space after your srcds and insert this. Also the auto update part, I will delete that. I delete it because I will use this for further tutorials on how to install admin modules and new game modes and so on. And these come from third-party sources and not from Valve. So every time there's a new game update for Counter-Strike, you have to get the latest versions of these programs too, or else your server will crash. So I remove this. If you just run a standard server, just when you're in the client game, click create server and select your map and your settings and click start, and just run a regular server. You can play with bots and your friends, so you can let the auto update stay here because you don't have to need any admin module or so. We just make that, and down here we call it srcds console or cmd or whatsoever, and right click this and properties, and now we're gonna copy all of the code here. Make a space and insert the text from here. Well, it's actually not willing to, so I have to write it manually. Console, game, sorry. So, and C-Strike. This game parameter is very important. If you don't have this, your server would not start. So and I want the auto update. I set up max players. Set the max players to 6. I need to correct that in the GUI version. I will do that in a few seconds. And a map. So click OK to that and quit it. I have to correct the max players in here. The reason I had corrected this to 6 players is because of my system specs. You can see here I have, it's actually a virtual machine on my Mac, so my Hackintosh. I have 512 megabytes of RAM and a dual core processor. So I have some images here also from the C-Strike Planet. The first one is how much upload speed you need to run the server. I have my 3030 connection, so my bandwidth connection goes out of this scale. But this is the bandwidth you need to run from 1 to 32 players. Here we have the memory, the RAM requirements for your system. I have only 512 megabits, which is recommended amount of RAM for 4 to 8 players. So I've run 6 players because this is in the middle of those. So the red bars are the minimum requirements, and these are the recommended. So, and also you will need it's a good idea to have a SATA hard drive and not one of those old AGA or IDE drives. They are quite slow. And a dual core processor is also a good idea. But it's all explained on C-Strike Planet, so I won't bother you with talking about that. So now we have created these. We can run it server. So we start with the GUI version. Just double click, and here we have GUI. We can select the game and the name of the server, and the GUI version is the map command. It's not taking that, and also not the max players. So you have to just define them in your server configuration. This is just for basic use, so show you how it's looking. And also I want to create to cancel it, to quit it. So also I want to create a server configuration file. This is the next thing we're gonna do. So this is part 2 of my tutorial. It's been over 15 minutes, so I have to split it in 2 parts. But anyway, the next part will be creating a server configuration file. And to do this, we can also use this page. It has a file here to create. I think it's here. No, it's here, the srcds CFG maker. So here we have a server CFG, Counter-Strike server. This is what I'm gonna call my server, and a remote console password. This is for admin purposes. I will just set that to 1, 2, 3, 4 for testing purposes only, and also you can define a server password if you want. I don't want to do that. And aircon, and you can set settings for this. I will just leave them at these at default. You can set them as you want. Also here, operation, you have to select your region of the world. So, and you can press run CFG maker, and it has created a server CFG for you. You just have to select all of this code and copy it. You have to open Notepad. I don't actually know if it's why it's not pasting it, so copy it and well, this is for your server configuration file, and the console view will look like this. So, and here we have Windows Firewall. It's a good idea to allow this access, allow program access to run. So now it's executing a server file. It's actually not there, so it will probably stand here for the love to know. It has executed. Failed to load server. Yes. and also back secure, you can turn it on or off or what you want. So you can see my FPS is quite high. Well, quit that again. Yeah, my system is still a little buggy. I apologize for that, but now we have the systems up running, and so for the first tutorial in my project Counter-Strike Source Server on Windows, I will say thanks for watching, and hopefully see you for a new tutorial in this series. The next one will be about how to install the admin modules and the required components for those. So see you next time. Of course, all the files I use in the tutorials, I'll put down the links in the description. So see ya.